How you guys doing? I want to talk to you really quick and minister to you for a second on what a demonic altar is and what are altars. The Bible talks about altars and what an evil altar is throughout the Old and the New Testament, but we really see this principle in the beginning. But I have to take you back to the beginning. I'm reading a book by Francis Miles, I believe his name is, and it really, some of this revelation, I really received in my spirit from him. But he was talking about the courts of heaven and things like that. But I've been knowing a lot of this, but he gave me language for it. But in the book of Genesis, we see that Adam and Eve gave us dominion in the earth realm. So we must start there. He said, let us make man in our image and in our likeness, in the image of God. So we were made in the image and likeness of God with divine DNA from heaven. And in that, Satan had already failed into the second heaven. He had already failed, and there was chaos. And so when God did that, what is he giving us dominion over? Yes, the fish. Yes, the trees. So at one point, Adam and Eve even had authority over the nature, over that. That's why there's such a desire in men to get control over wind and over patterns and global warming and all this stuff. There's a desire in man to have control over this because of the original. We had control over it in the beginning. And it even looked like that Adam and Eve were able to speak to animals. So that's the type of dominion they walked in, which is complete authority over that. And so God, when he gave us dominion, he locked himself out as well as the devil. They cannot do anything in the earth unless they have a body to come through. God can't even. He bound himself to those spiritual laws. And so when he said you can have dominion, authority, now how did he get into the earth realm? Through altars. Altars are the way that God and Adam and Eve, when they fell from sin, they needed to be able to interact with God, and the only way they could do that through altars. So we see the first two altars with Adam and with the whole first holy altar with Adam, when God slew the animal and they begin to build an altar. So then Adam and Eve's sons begin to build altars. We see the first battle of the altars with Abel having a demonic, a godly altar, and Cain having an evil altar. These altars affect generations. When you have a demonic altar in your life, you can see it because everybody in your family is in poverty. Everybody in your family is on drugs. We call them generational. There's also generational curses attached to that as well. Generational curses come from God because of the sin of the iniquity. But a demonic altar will literally have everybody in your family in poverty, on food stamps and all this stuff. And until this altar is broken through repentance, through spiritual warfare, through going to the courts of heaven, legally removing those legal rights, until that's done in the realm of the spirit, you will constantly see these evil altars fight against your prosperity, fight against your marriage, fight against your ministry, fight against every area of your life. So you must destroy these evil altars in your life in order to see victory. So I got Adam and so Abel had a godly altar. So, some people have godly altars. That means your family members were all pastors. Everybody was preachers. Everybody loved God. A lot of your parents raised you up in the ways of the Lord. You didn't have to fight against certain generational curses, certain generational iniquities. Why? Because you had a godly altar. So there's godly altar, generational blessing, generational curses. Then there's evil altars. There's evil altars in governments, evil altar in nations. There are some evil altars are erected in entire nations, and they only can be broken through the courtroom of heaven, because these are legal rights that have been given through sin, through iniquity. Iniquity is what opens the door to demonic altars to be erected. And these are demonic portals. These are demonic, these are where demons come through, in and out, because they cannot come into this world without there being worship. Worship is what fuels demonic altars. Worship is what builds demonic altars. And anybody in another religion has a demonic altar. Anybody outside of God has a demonic altar. And some Christians have demonic altars because they live in sin or because of generational curses or things like that. That demonic altars come, and it seems like no matter what you do, you cannot have answered prayer. No matter what you do, you cannot have victory. That's because there's a demonic altar there that must go. You must go by faith into the courtroom of heaven. You must remove air by the blood. According to Luke 18, you must go before the judge. You must approach God as judge, not as father, but as judge. And you must ask him to forgive you. You must break every legal right in the courtroom of heaven. You must ask God then to judge that spirit that is operating behind that altar. It might be a demonic evil altar of poverty, of sexual sin, of sexual morality, whatever that demonic altar is. It has to be broken and removed in the realm of the spirit. If that demonic altar is not destroyed, what you will see is you will see a constant flow of demonic activity. And we see demonic altars. So the lineage of Cain, how did this demonic altar affect him? That Cain's whole family line was messed up because of demonic altar. Abel's whole family line was blessed. So we see two different altars, how one led to generational blessing, one led to generational curses, and that is what happened. And I believe somebody's watching me. You have generational curse, you have a demonic altar in your life, but I break it now in the realm of the spirit. I go before the courts of heaven. Enter the courts of heaven with me. I go before the courts of heaven. I remove every legal right, and I pray that God would judge every demonic spirit and every demonic altar in your life. God bless you.